Hello everyone, this is the fifth video on study of first element hydrogen. Okay, so in today's class I'll explain you the last section of study of hydrogen. Okay, in the last part of this study of hydrogen there is oxidation and reduction. Oxidation and oxidation, oxidation and reduction. Okay, so you refer your book for this oxidation and reduction. Now you make one question. What do you mean by oxidation reaction? Okay, oxidation, what do you mean by oxidation? OXIDA, then oxidation or simply oxidation reaction. Okay, oxidation reaction. Give explain with suitable example. Explain with suitable, SUITABLE, suitable examples. Now answer. Oxidation reaction can be explained in three different ways. Okay, so first of all, number one, oxidation, OXIDATI, oxidation reaction. Oxidation means addition, ADDI, addition of oxygen, OXYGN, oxygen atom in an element. Okay, in an element. Example, okay, example, give you simplest example. Carbon plus oxygen will give you carbon dioxide, CO2. Here oxygen is added to carbon, so we say carbon is oxidized. Here C is oxidized, OXIDIACD, oxidized to CO2. Carbon is oxidized. This in carbon oxygen is added, so oxidation, OXIDATI, oxidation. Okay, in similar manner, another example also I'll give you. Copper. See, if you heat copper in presence of oxygen, extreme heating if you do, then you'll get copper oxide. So here we say copper is oxidized to copper oxide. Okay, copper is oxidized to copper oxide, OXIDIACD. Carbon is oxidized, OXIDIACD, oxidized. Copper is oxidized to copper oxide. So first definition is oxidation means addition of oxygen atom in an element. Okay, oxidation means addition of oxygen. Next, definition number two. Oxidation also means removal, REMOVAL, removal of hydrogen from a compound. Example. Okay, example, H2S, hydrogen sulfide plus chlorine, Cl2, gives sulfur plus HCl. If you balance this, 2 comes here. 2 hydrogens are there, 2 chlorines are there, so put 2 here. Okay, so this is the balanced reaction. So this is hydrogen sulfide, HYDROGN, hydrogen HYDROGN, hydrogen sulfide, SULPHID, sulfide. Hydrogen sulfide plus chlorine gives, this is sulfur, SULPHUR, sulfur. Okay, plus this is hydrochloric acid or hydrogen chloride gas. In this reaction, hydrogen is removed from hydrogen sulfide and ultimately sulfur is formed. Hydrogen is removed from H2S and Ultimately you got sulfur. Okay, we say in this reaction, we say H2S is oxidized, OXIDISED, oxidized to sulfur. H2S is oxidized to sulfur. Okay, here H2S is oxidized, OXIDISED, oxidized to sulfur, SULPHUR, sulfur. So second definition of oxidation reaction means oxidation reaction is a reaction in which hydrogen is removed. Okay, hydrogen is removed from a compound. Removal of hydrogen is also called as oxidation. So first definition was addition of oxygen in an element is called oxidation. Second definition, removal of hydrogen is also known as oxidation. Third definition, increase, INCREASE, increase. Oxidation also means, okay, oxidation, OXIDATI, oxidation also means increase, INCREASE, increase of charge of an ion or element, 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 ion or an element, neutral element. Okay, so example, suppose you have sodium. If sodium loses one electron, you will get Na1 plus, sodium plus ion. So here charge of an element is 0, neutral. This is right now, it is neutral. Okay, it has 11 electrons and 11 protons, so it is neutral. So when it loses one electron, its charge changes to 1 plus. So from 0, charge is changed to 1 plus. Okay, so this is called oxidation. Oxidized. So sodium is oxidized, OXIDISED, oxidized to Na1 plus ion, Na plus ion. So this is element. So here element is there. Okay, so sodium is element. So element is oxidized to ion, Na1 plus. So oxidation also means increase of charge of an, okay, of an, not to n, of an ion or element, okay. In similar manner, this is example number 1. Example number 2, you have calcium, Ca. Calcium loses 2 electrons. It forms Ca2 plus ion, calcium 2 plus ion. So here charge of calcium is changed from 0 to 2 plus. That means it has increased from 0, it has gone to 2 plus. So this is called oxidation. Oxidized. Calcium is OXIDISED, oxidized to calcium 2 plus ion. Okay, so this is the meaning of oxidation. Oxidation means addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen or increase of charge. 3 different definitions are there. So you can make a note. Just make a note. Okay, note OXIDATION. Oxidation means addition of ADDITI, addition of oxygen, OXYZN, oxygen. This is number A. Number B, removal of REMOVAL, removal of hydrogen, HYDROGN, hydrogen. Number C, increase INCREAS, increase of charge. Increase of charge. So 3 different definitions are there. Now let's move on to another question. What do you mean by reduction? What do you mean by reduction? RADUC. Reduction. Explain with suitable examples. Okay. reduction means just opposite of oxidation. Opposite of oxidation. So just erase this. You make it a reduction, reduction. Reduction means addition of, instead of oxygen you make it hydrogen. HYDROGN, hydrogen. Or removal of, here instead of hydrogen make it oxygen. Oxygen, and instead of increase you make it decrease. Decrease of charge. So reduction also has three definitions. Okay, definition number 1. Reduction means addition of hydrogen atom in a compound or in an element. Okay, on an element. So reduction is that. Example, I'll give you. Example, addition of hydrogen. Okay, of nitrogen plus hydrogen. Nitrogen plus hydrogen gives ammonia, NH3. This is ammonia. Okay. Here there are some conditions also. The temperature and pressures are pressure should also be there. But right now just remember, nitrogen plus hydrogen is ammonia. It gives ammonia. They will combine to give ammonia. So here hydrogen is added to nitrogen. Okay, so hydrogen is added to nitrogen. So we say nitrogen is reduced, reduced, reduced to this. Nitrogen is reduced to ammonia, NH3 means ammonia. Okay. Next definition. Removal of oxygen. Definition number 2. Reduction, REDU. Reduction also means removal, REMOVAL, removal of oxygen, OXYGEN, oxygen atom or atoms. Okay. Example, you have copper oxide. If you pass this copper oxide, through hydrogen, or if you pass hydrogen through copper oxide. Okay, so copper oxide plus hydrogen gives copper plus hydrogen and oxygen reacts to form water. So here oxygen is removed from copper oxide. Okay, oxygen is removed from copper, CO. From CO oxygen is removed and you got copper. So this is, we say copper oxide is reduced, reduced to copper. We say copper oxide is reduced to metallic copper. This is copper. Okay, Cu. So second definition of reduction is removal of oxygen. So your oxygen is removed from copper oxide, oxygen is removed and we got copper. Okay, so this is the meaning of reduction reaction. Now the last definition of reduction. Third definition. Number 3. Reduction, REDUCT. Reduction also means decrease of, DECREAS, decrease of charge by addition of electrons. ELECTRONS, electrons. When you add electrons to an ion or to an element, okay, so charge gets reduced and that is called reduction. Okay. Example, you have copper 2 plus ions. So if you add 2 electrons out here, okay, so it gives copper, Cu, neutral ion. Copper element, it gives copper. From 2 plus, this is 0. Okay, and elements charge is always 0, element or compounds. Okay, so from copper 2 plus, the charge is changed to 0. So we say copper is reduced to, copper 2 plus ion, okay, is reduced to metallic copper. Reduced, REDUCT, reduced to to this one, arrow shows. Okay, so copper 2 plus iron is reduced to neutral copper or metallic copper. So this is the meaning of reduction. Similarly, I'll give one more example. Chlorine plus 1 electron gives Cl1 minus ion. This is right now neutral. Neutral has gone to 1 minus. It has decreased from 0. It has decreased. Okay. So from 2 it has become 0. So it is decreased. So decrease of charge is called reduction. Here also chlorine is reduced to Cl1 minus ion. So this is the meaning of reduction. Okay. Now let's move on to oxidizing and reducing agents. Meaning of oxidizing agent and meaning of reducing agent. Meaning of oxidizing agent and reducing agent. Question, you write it. What do you mean by oxidizing? Oxidizing oxidizing agent. Agents agents and reducing reducing agents. Explain giving suitable examples. Okay. First, let's discuss oxidizing agents. Let's first discuss oxidizing agents. So oxidizing agents, they are the substances. Okay, they are the substances which oxidizes the other substance during a chemical reaction by giving them oxygen or by accepting hydrogen from them, or by accepting electrons from them. Okay, so that is the definition of oxidizing agent. So they are the agents, or they are the substances which oxidizes the other substance during a chemical reaction by giving them oxygen or by accepting hydrogen from them or by accepting electrons from them. Okay, so write that statement. So example of oxidizing agents are, okay, so example of oxidizing agents are concentrated, CONC stands for concentrated. Okay, concentrated H2SO4 means sulfuric acid, comma, chlorine, Cl2 is chlorine, O2 is oxygen, comma, concentrated HNO3 means nitric acid. Okay, so again I'll explain the meaning of oxidizing agents. Oxidizing agents, I have written the definition properly here. Okay, they are the substances which oxidizes the other substance, which will oxidize the other substance by providing oxygen to them, or by accepting hydrogen from them, or by accepting electrons from them. Okay, oxidation means we know oxidation means addition of oxygen. Oxygen should be added to some suppose you have copper. In order to add oxygen, this oxygen should come from some source. Okay, and that source which gives oxygen is called oxidizing agent, which provides oxygen is called oxidizing agent. Or suppose you have NH3. From here, if you want to remove hydrogen, this hydrogen should be accepted by some other substance, and the substance which accepts this hydrogen is called reducing agent. Or suppose you have this copper. If you want to remove electrons from this copper, or sodium, you have sodium, Na. You have Na, sodium. Okay, Na. If you want to remove one electron from this if you want to remove one electron, this electron should be accepted by some other substance during a chemical reaction. Okay, that agent which accepts this electron is called oxidizing agent. See, substance which oxidizes the other substance by providing oxygen, or by accepting hydrogen from them, or by accepting electrons from them. So they are called oxidizing agents. Example, you remember this one. Okay, now reducing agents. Reducing agents, reducing, reducing agents, they are the substances which reduces instead of oxidizes. You write reduces, reduces the other substance by providing hydrogen instead of oxygen. You make it hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen to them, or by accepting oxygen from them, or by providing electron to them, providing electrons to them. Okay, so they are the substances which reduce the other substance by providing hydrogen to them, or by accepting oxygen from them, or by providing electrons to them. So example of reducing agents. Example of reducing agents. So first example is zinc. Okay, next is aluminum. Al stands for aluminum, Cu stands for copper, Na stands for sodium, H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide, H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide, Hi is hydrogen iodide. Okay, CO carbon monoxide, SO2 sulfur dioxide. So these are the examples of oxidizing agents. So in exam you will be asked to write the two examples of oxidizing agents or reducing agents. Okay, that you can give these examples, or sometimes you will be asked to differentiate between oxidizing agent and reducing agents. In that case, you can give the definition. So first we did the meaning of oxidation, isn't it? Meaning of oxidation. Oxidation means it has three definitions. 1, 2, 3. Addition of oxygen, or removal of hydrogen, or removal of electrons is called oxidation. Okay. Next, reduction means addition of hydrogen. Number 2, removal of oxygen. Number 3, addition of electrons. Okay, that is reduction. Next we did oxidizing agents. Oxidizing agents means the agents or the substances which oxidizes the other substance, and reducing agent is the agent which reduces the other agents. Okay, so this much for today's class. I'll continue in the next class. With this, your chapter 6, study of hydrogen, is completed. Study of hydrogen is completed. Okay, in next class we will discuss some questions from the exercises of this chapter 6. Okay, thank you.